Basically, for my project, I want to do a video surrounding weight bias. It's just a topic that I've been passionate about. It's something that I've gone through myself, and I think I have grown like the type of platform at the Met to be able to speak about it.
So just to be clear, like I don't help with weight loss now.
Okay.
Earlier in my career, I did until I learned more and became a more seasoned, I guess, dietitian and realized that it wasn't actually helpful. I wanted to become a dietitian because I thought I was going to help people lose weight, ironically enough. I always knew I wanted to do like some type of counseling, and I thought weight loss was what I wanted to help people with. But you know, things change over time, and my career path changed as well, and what I focus on and working with people has changed. But I think that's what drew me to the field, unfortunately. But I'm glad. I guess I'm here now.
Yeah, I'm glad you are too, and I'm glad you were able to be more educated and make that decision for yourself that you don't want to just primarily focus on weight loss. You want to help with educating and the positivity around it. So that's awesome. We need more medical professionals like you.
I avoided going to medical care for a long time because I was really worried about that judgment, because I knew that doctors were, in high school, my conversations were always around my weight, never around my like depression and my mental health disorders and my mental health issues. It's a scary thing. It was an ordeal. And when I finally kind of got like I want to say like courage, but like when I got the courage or when I felt comfortable in going, my weight was too high for the scale. And they were nice about it, but it was like in the back of my head, like, oh wow, this place like literally doesn't have like
the services.
Yeah, the services. Yeah, and the same thing with the blood pressure cuff. Like they didn't have a blood pressure cuff that would fit my arm, and so they would do like the on your arm, and that's a less accurate reading.
Exactly.
Even then, like I would have to do the labor of educating them. It was pretty heartbreaking and discouraging. In a lot of ways.
It wouldn't be a conversation of like genuine problems that were going on with you, like your depression, and you said like your anxiety. It would be maybe if you worked out, it would help your mental state. And it's always a conversation of weight. It's never a conversation of any other issue. I did have the same experience too growing up, and I still get afraid of the doctors, and I still feel like that negative energy.
Yeah, I mean, advice would definitely be to just like really educate themselves on the importance of being inclusive of bigger body people, right? And like that there's this notion of weight automatically being correlated with like medical or health issues is something that could easily be debunked if you're really just focusing on that person's health and well-being, right? And so that's kind of the conversation point that I did with my sister, was just like, how would you see me just walking in a room and stepping on a scale and then really being able to like say, well, if you look at my chart, what does it say about my weight, you know? And so and really just challenging the medical field to, you know, reevaluate where they are with like the BMI chart and, you know, how to best support plus size people and so on and so forth. A lot of this comes through for me in therapy when I'm in therapy in terms of like, what would I have said to my younger self? And I have 2 daughters that I try to really instill the importance of just self-love and uh you know, I'm getting a little emotional because I think it channels from
No,
me
it's okay. Yeah.
the piece about like if I could have loved my body then
Yeah.
you know, you think about those things of like how much I've put my body through. So to be transparent, like I've had weight loss surgery, I've had a breast reduction. So like all these things that are super connected to my weight that I feel like if I was just being told at a young age that, you know, you're healthy,
Yeah.
um, your weight doesn't matter, like all these things that I just would have not, it wouldn't have impacted my life in this way. And I think it just takes away from the negative, you know, mind games it plays with you in terms of how you need to show up in society, you know?
It just makes me think about like how I felt, and it's like you just grow up and like just being told that your body's wrong, and like people that you're supposed to depend on in the medical field, like they're telling you that your body's wrong, and then that bleeds into your family and how you're looked and society, and it just like it makes you not love yourself, and then it's kind of like you have to grow up and learn to re-love yourself, and it's so hard when all you've ever heard is negative. So yeah, that's just like these are the effects. These are the effects of having that early on experience in the medical field from doctors, and how that bleeds into your life and just changes everything.
A few years back, I had tumors in my stomach. One was the size of a basketball, one was the size of a grapefruit. I went to the doctors. Because I'm overweight, they dismissed me and told me there was nothing wrong with me, that I was just fat. So then I went to a specialist who also, because of my weight, seeing that I have a belly, just pinched around a couple seconds and said, "There's nothing wrong with you, you're just fat." Within 2 weeks, I was in the emergency room in so much pain with these tumors ready to bust. And if they just would have did the proper test and listened to me, they would have seen that it wasn't just because I was a fat person, it was because I was actually sick. But they're very dismissive when you're overweight about your concerns. They think everything is related to you being fat. If you're experiencing weight bias, your best bet is to always keep seeking medical advice until you find somebody who listens to you. Even if you got to keep changing doctors, you keep going to a doctor until somebody listens to you. You know your body, and you know you're sick, you're sick. So keep going until you find somebody who hears what you got to say.
And any advice to any future of medical professionals that are going to be listening to this?
Yeah, to not look at somebody's size. You know, we're all people. You know, we're hearts and beings, and you know, you got to look at the person. Every patient's there for your care. We don't feel good, we're there to see you. So just be patient and not be discriminatory.
You mentioned some like specific resources, like some podcasts and books. Well, do you know any specific resources by name? Maybe some podcasts, books, anyone listening that could look into, any workbooks?
Yeah, so there's Anti-Diet by Christy Harrison is a good kind of like overview of the anti-diet movement. There's a good book that explores like the history of where fat phobia originated from, called Fearing the Black Body, which is a good book. As far as workbooks, like there's a workbook called, I think it's called a body image workbook for everybody.
Mhm.
That's a good workbook. There's some good podcasts called Maintenance Phase, Going Beyond the Food.